Welcome everybody to our next episode of Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast. We have a very special guest in the building today. Wee Jim Cassie here, my left. What?
I'm not the special guest, Ciara.
He didn't let me finish. On my right, we've got Mandy. You are very special, Gemma. We've got Mandy from Resilio. Mm-hmm. Now, before we start our podcast today, I just want to make people aware that there might be a few stressors in the podcast, and just to be aware of it whenever they're listening. Maybe it's poking a wee bear, maybe you have to press pause, but always think and remember that you can come back to this. This is here, it's going to be here forever, so you can come back and re-listen. And Mandy?
Yeah, I suppose the trigger warning can be the use of the word suicide. And I know many people are not comfortable with that. And what I suggest is it's a word that if we don't bring it to the forefront, it becomes a shameful word. So how could we expect somebody to say to somebody, I'm having thoughts of suicide, if it's a shameful word? And yes, we can use other words like somebody's taken their own life, but somebody with thoughts of ending their life, if we can try and become a little more comfortable with the word suicide, because it makes it less shameful for the person expressing that they are having thoughts of that.
Is this your first podcast?
No, I think it's a second.
Ooh. First the worst, second the best.
Yeah.
Third the one with the hairy chest.
Yes.
Today we're talking about hope. And I suppose what we do in Support Together is we provide hope. We and that's the reason why I suppose I'm still here and Gemma's still here, is we found hope through the charity. And then we're going to hear a wee bit from Mandy about what hope means for her and how she come to be here today. So Gemma, start me off.
Yeah.
What does hope mean to you?
Hope means to me what keeps me going every day. I have positive attitude and get up and go, and I suppose just look into the future. Not too far in the future now, but just one day at a time and just taking the best out of everything that I do.
Just the one day.
Just the one day.
Hold on, P and N's.
P and N's?
Eh? Hope. Hold on, P and N's.
Oh, right. Yes, I like
So I always think about, because at one stage I thought I had no hope.
Yeah.
I thought it was never going to end.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, P and N's.
Yeah, you think whenever you're in the midst of it, you think you're never gonna see the light of day again. But
yeah. So that's what we do for our mummies.
yeah.
Yes.
It's a drip, wee bit of hope. Just that wee pinhole.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a wee
And
bit
also,
bigger.
I sometimes say, well, I often say, yes, I've heard hold on, pain ends. I like hold on, pain eases.
That's a better one. Hold on, pain eases.
For some, the pain ends, and for others, depending on your circumstances, the pain can ease.
Uh-huh.
But it's still it's a positive outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's having that wee bit of hope.
Absolutely. I mean, if we don't have hope, what do we have?
I don't know. Mandy, tell me what has brought you here today and what you have and what hope means for you.
Okay. So I actually really appreciate being invited here today, because I have been listening to your podcasts and I think there are so many fantastic elements to them, and there's a bit of crack in there, which
You love the jokes. Yeah.
I love the joke. I mean, some of them I'm like, no, please no. But it's in there. I've heard it now. I can't unhear it. My journey into hope, and I suppose what has led me on to being here today, came from my daughter, who struggled a lot with her mental health. And unfortunately, in 2017, she took her own life. I have two boys. One was 12 at the time, another 3.5 months. And I just went into protection mode, mainly for my 12-year-old. I did feel that I had failed Ellie because I didn't save her. And I'm a mom and I should have been able to save her. I did everything I could and what I knew at the time to help her become well. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And I had to, this is what I told myself at that time, I had to do better for my 2 other children. So anything I saw advertised to do with mental health, I went to. There was one thing that stuck out to me, and it was in a local school of an evening. And I sat and I listened. There were many different people there from different organisations. And there was a lady from Resilio talking about hope. And I did think this was going to be about religion, which is fine, absolutely fine. But it wasn't. And the more I listened, the more I realised Ellie lost hope.
I was going to say to you, did she not have any hope?
Yeah. I just sat there, and this was only a few months after she passed away. And I was just sat with my chin on my chest. So I stayed behind and I spoke with Mary Dunn and explained what had happened. And she invited me to do some training, which I was sort of gobsmacked about, but I thought, sure, I'll give anything a go. I went and did the training, and then I did some work voluntary in schools. And the feedback from the young people, I thought, this is what I need to do. And my journey has carried on from them. From then, I have learned more and more about hope. I hold on to hope every single day. And I would love for Ellie to be remembered for the girl that passed on hope.
Yeah.
Because there are stigmas to suicide. Although I think it is getting better, but there's still more that we can do. And I now run programs, write programs based on the theory of hope, because there is actually a theory, which I'll share with you. And I love bringing this to communities because waiting lists are extreme. And unfortunately, people have to be in crisis before they can avail of any help. So we at Resilio, if we can instill hope in people and bring out the amazing things they already have inside.
They have the answers themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose that's early intervention, Mandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Getting it before it gets to crisis.
Yeah. And one thing about hope is it's a teachable skill. And we do measure it. All the work we do, we measure it, we evaluate it. And there is always a positive impact. And this keeps Ellie's memory alive for me. So it's my passion, it's my purpose. And I love the fact that Support Together, Una invited me to come in and talk about hope. And together, we're developing a program supporting hope together. And the fact that it's in my hometown, our hometown, I think we can do amazing things together. And I'm very grateful to Una for this.
Well, I think when we're talking about hope, I know within the charity, we always say we're there, we provide hope. And that's whenever I was ill, that's all I needed was a wee bit of hope, something to get me through.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you do. And as you're saying, with the waiting lists and all, as long as if you can give somebody hope for tomorrow, it's going to get them through.
That's it.
It's amazing. And that, as what Gemma had said, it's even a pinhole of hope.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's it. And, they say, so you spoke about hope, Gemma, about the future. Well, it's the belief that the future can be better than the present, along with the belief that you have something inside of yourself to make that so. And we have amazing qualities. And through journeys of life, they can become suppressed, but they're still in there. And all it takes is a caring, compassionate person that can just plant that seed so that you have amazing qualities inside and bring them to the surface.
Yeah, so you use your lived experience with you in your job every day with your hope.
Absolutely. I often question, would I be where I am now had I not gone to that evening in the school? I'm not sure where I would be or where my family would be. Because once you hold hope yourself, you can spread it to other people. And it's a ripple effect.
Yeah. So it's like a smile, it's infectious.
I suppose you've seen that hope through Mary.
I did.
I've done a course with Mary in the past, and so I've met her.
Yeah.
And you can just see that hope that she radiates.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I know that we often hear mummies saying to us, I just wish I could be where you are now. But we're providing the hope for them because they can see, actually, things can change. This is not my forever. You had mentioned briefly about the hope theory. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, the theory is that it's a strong belief that the future will be better than the present, along with the belief that you have something inside to make it so. And that is the theory. I had never known there was a theory to hope. And what I love about it, it's understandable language.
Yeah.
It's not big highfalutin words. It's not just for people with, whatever your education is. Hope is a word that is universal. It's known everywhere. And it's everyday language. And I would say that anybody listening to this, you'll probably hear hope said multiple times in a day. And but when we look at the word, what is it? And what hope may mean to me could be different for somebody else, and more than likely is. So it's individual. And I do believe that we are all individuals. Yes, we run in packs and we are social beings, but it's okay to be individual in the way that you are and to bring that alive in yourself.
Yeah.
Brace your quirkiness.
Absolutely. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's nobody more quirkier than our wee Gem.
Yeah, I embrace it.
See them boots she's on the day. Anyway, so the program that we are devising ourselves, Support Together, and with yourself, Mandy, how did that come about?
Well, that came about Una contacting me, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And we'd always bumped into each other at different events, different places. One of the trainings that I was sitting in on, Una was a part of that. And I will always remember her great contribution to that. And that was probably in the region of 4 years ago. And then we bumped into each other at the Ashling Centre, the Hope, Health and Healing. I was a guest speaker one year, and then Una was a guest speaker. So do you know what it is? We're just destined to be together and to do something great together. And I love the community base of all this. I think community is the heart of hope.
Yeah, it's grassroots. It's there.
Yeah.
That's where it all begins, and that's where we're bringing it. I love to hear that you're going out around the schools because you're getting the hope in early. And what struck me whenever you started speaking was that you went into protective mode for your 12-year-old. And I totally get that. And it's like there's a fear, but you just needed to protect. And how is he? Does your family, what do they think of the hope and the hope model and the Resilio? And
they're all very supportive.
Yeah.
Very supportive of it. And out of everything I have learned, this has helped my family grow. It's hard to even think how I could have been had I not come across this, because a lot of the language we use to ourselves and to others, we can change it to soften things, to be more compassionate, to be more understanding. And I've been able to pass that on to my husband and, my children. And it just makes for a calmer household. Do we never flip our lids? Yes, we do. But far, far less. And I think that's because we have the understanding of the impact of words.
Yeah.
And like I say, these are words that we use every day. And just by changing it slightly, the impact you have on somebody could be a positive impact.
Yeah.
And a reassurance. I love the one when you change should to could. You should do this, you should do that. You're taking the power away from that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we want to do. And if you change that, well, you could try this. They have choice then. Nobody likes being told what to do. I know I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We all agree on that.
Yep.
So, you know, if I can, the work I do now is mainly with parents and carers and in community centres in and around communities, because I feel it needs to be holistic. So, yes, we could go and train the teachers in a programme called Hopeful Minds. They would roll it out in the schools. And what I always suggest is then invite the parents in, or the carers, so they can learn alongside their children, because it opens up discussions in the home.
Yeah, definitely does. And it's something that needs to be talked about and discussed. There's no point it only being one-sided. I totally get that, where the parent and the carers need to be informed as well.
Absolutely involved, you know, learning together is a great way to
You
learn.
have to understand to be understood.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, the big one we do can be on brain development.
Yeah.
I know at 13 and 14, children can look like adults. They're barely halfway there to adulthood within their brain. And just knowing that and having an understanding of where they are at
Exactly.
can make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Of a lot of the expectations maybe the parents have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can lessen that.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, dirty washing line on the bedroom floor would annoy us totally.
Yeah.
But to a teenager that perhaps just leaves them lying around, it's not important to them.
Yeah. It's
You
last
know.
thing they're thinking about.
Well, that's it. And they genuinely don't notice it. You know, could say, how could you not see that? Didn't see it. And that's because, you know, their head isn't focused on the sock on the floor.
Yeah.
Ours is.
Yeah. That's where we are. I'm really keen to hear how, I suppose, for us, the Fill Your Cuppa podcast is all about how we keep our cuppa filled. What fills your cup and how do you keep it filled?
Honestly, it's being out in the community. It's meeting great people and organisations or families. I look at Support Together as being a family. We use the word organisation. Resilio, I call them my hope family because they give me hope. I give them hope. And I think when communities come together, I think that's when change can be possible.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, waiting for this, waiting for that. You know, we can get together and let's get there before crisis.
Yeah. Get in there in good time.
Yeah.
Jim, what about your cuppa? How are you filling it? Is it filled? Is it halfway filled, quarter filled,
It's rightly
overflowing?
filled now. I could do a wee bit of extra milk in it, you know. But it's rightly filled.
How are you keeping it filled?
How am I keeping it filled? The connection. Meeting with friends, family. That's the most important thing to me. That connection. One of our 4 C's.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Connection.
Most important thing to me.
For me, definitely communication and connection and open, honest conversations.
Bringing the real into the room.
Speaking it out and not hold it in. Keeps because your cup can be filled or can be drained very, very quickly. But it can be filled as quickly whenever you get
Surrounding
it.
yourself with nice people.
With the right people.
That's it. And when you feel your cup are draining, you see, just being aware of that.
Yeah.
And taking that pause and thinking, you know, I feel I'm starting to run on empty here. You know, and when we have the awareness of that, that's when we can say, okay, what can I do for myself? What is going to fill my cuppa? Gemma, you fill my cuppa an awful lot. You make coffee exactly how I like it.
I'll remember that the next time you're in the office.
I don't have a very good memory, but I remember what way people like their coffee.
Yes, very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, and we couldn't bring the podcast to you today without the support of Moody Activewear. Moody Activewear creates high quality, functional activewear so that you can feel good doing the things you love. They don't just support your ass, they support your head as well, as they donate 100% of their profits to support women's mental health, such as Support Together. Visit moodyactivewear.co.uk. So on that pointer then, Mandy, if there's somebody listening to this podcast today and they feel like they've lost hope or they need direction, where would you signpost them to?
I would absolutely signpost them to Lifeline, because the loss of hope is one of the largest deciding factors in suicide. Mm-hmm. And Lifeline's number, and I actually recommend that everybody has this number on the phone, young and old, mm-hmm. because it's also, if you know somebody that is in distress, so you could be passing a lifeline on to somebody else, and their number is 0808 808 8000. I'll just repeat that. 0808 808 8000. It's certainly not shameful to have that on your phone. It's not shameful to hand that number to somebody, because I think we can be quite awkward in the fact that, you know, somebody might say, oh, but you're assuming this, you're assuming that. You know, have that number on your phone. Mm-hmm. Allow that number to be on your children's phones.
Yeah. Well, I know Una's not here with us today, but I know that, and Una has shared it in the past, that she actually, whenever she was, I suppose, in the depths of the illness, had reached out to Lifeline and rang Lifeline, and that was really an anchor for her, because that was possibly a turning point where she was somebody to listen.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know it works. We know that people there. There's somebody. It's a listening ear, and if it gets you from tonight into tomorrow, that's, you know, and then we go from there. But definitely, it's a good number to have. It's one we also have in our message from Support Together through the messenger page and on Facebook.
Hopefully, can provide that wee pinhole of hope.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what it is. That's all it is. Yeah.
This is not necessarily about Resilio. But it is something that I say we hear so often, reach out. And yes, I understand that. If you notice something different about a friend, a family member, a child, please reach in. Mm-hmm. Do not assume they're okay. I understand you can feel a little fearful, but the onus on somebody who is really, really struggling to reach out. On my tough days, I cannot even pick my phone up, let alone dial a number. Mm-hmm. So if we can reach in to people, I think that can help, because that person then feels noticed. Mm-hmm. Somebody notices.
For me, that's big, because I remember sitting in the house, and the house full, and feeling so lonely and just wishing for somebody. Why does nobody realise? How does nobody know? Yeah. And for somebody, if all I wanted was for somebody to say, Ciara, you're not yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody to actually understand and realise that this is not this. There's something wrong with Ciara.
I've noticed you.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed you, and that's, we always say our mummies need to be feel like I've heard you, I notice you. That's all they need. And that starts a conversation. It opens up a connection.
It does.
And it brings hope.
It does.
Exactly here.
Mm-hmm. We're some dolls.
I know. And can I get it in there? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we will, when we ask people about hope, and we break it down into HOPE. And there was a young boy that said, help our politicians engage. Fantastic. Straight to Stormont.
Yeah. That's another podcast for another day. Because we haven't got enough time for that today, but that could go on.
Yeah.
And there could be some healthy language in that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you smell some cheese?
No.
I promise I've got my shoes on.
Do you think it's a time for a couple of wee jokes?
Well, no.
Oh, I'm looking forward to these.
Now, these were hand delivered today, so they were. So Right. I don't know where to start. There's a bit of a theme going on them too. So, my dog used to chase people on a bike. Do you know what I did to stop him?
What did you do to stop him?
Took his bike off him.
Oh my gosh, help me.
Was it a unicycle or bicycle?
Oh, I don't know.
Might have been a
He had
unicycle.
stabilizers, so he did. And a wee basket at the front.
And a bell?
Yeah, and wee tassels at the end of it. I ran out of toilet paper, so I started using the old newspaper. Times was rough.
Very fitting.
What do you call sweaty boobs?
Well, I think we all have them in here.
Humid titties. Where would you find a cow with no legs?
Don't know, Ciara.
Wherever you left it, because it's not going to move. What kind of dog lives in a toilet?
There's definitely a theme here, Ciara.
Poodle.
Oh my gosh.
This is the last one. Why couldn't the toilet paper cross the road?
Don't know, Ciara.
Because it got stuck in a crack. Now, the jokes today were given to me by wee Gem in the corner, and
I'm still laughing at them.
there's definitely a thing going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know what she was at all morning, but anyway. That's
All
us,
good.
ladies. Mandy, thank you so much.
Thank you. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you.
We'll
for having
have
me.
to get you back in again whenever we do a bit more about our programme, and we'll get speaking to the people out there in the country. But thank you so much for coming in today, and that's us, ladies. Over and out.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast. Brought to you by me, I'm the host, Mrs. O, Ciara O'Gowan, and my co-hosts Una Leonard and Gemma Cassidy. Today we are supported by Moody Activewear and produced by 9874 Creative.